This hard drive right here is called the Seagate GoFlex satellite. What it is, it's a wireless hard drive. So these two lights on here, as you see, are lit up, and that means that this is transmitting right now. So what I do is I go over to my slide pad here, and it connects to the hard drive wirelessly. So say I'm sitting in a airplane or something like that, and I want to watch movies that I don't have on my iPad. I don't want to put a bunch of movies on my iPad. Now, there are some issues with transcoding. It takes a little while, that sort of thing. But it has to connect as well. So this is a 500 gigabyte hard drive.
And that's connecting over Wi-Fi?
It's connecting over Wi-Fi. Let's give it a go.
Doesn't really look like it's connecting for you.
It takes a moment for it to wake up.
How hard is this to set up?
It isn't. It's basically just a hard drive that you drag stuff onto.
Okay.
So it's ready to go as soon as you get out of the box. So here's, let's say we have some photos and things that we want to show folks. So you look here, you can download your photos, you can show your photos. You don't want to drag all your photos onto the iPad and transcode them and change them. This allows you to do it very quickly and easily. Also, you can watch movies, you have music, all sorts of different features. Let's see if there's some, there we go, there's a big buck bunny, that sort of thing. So this is transcoded automatically, so it doesn't actually have to be in the format that the iPad could read, it just shows up.
And it works obviously with your laptop and other devices as well.
So this can connect to about 5 people actually at once, and it's about 150, I believe.
150 bucks for a shared drive. And what's the storage on that?
500.
500 gigabytes. It's a pretty good deal. I mean, I like the fact that it's wireless and that you know, it overcomes the limitations, the storage limitations of the iPad. That's huge. But not only that, it lets you store things, you know, that you don't want to store on your laptop, right? Just like video and photos.
And up to 5 people can use it, so if you wanted to share 5 movies at once with someone, you could feasibly do that.
But the actual setup is pretty, like, to me, like that's the key for these types of devices. Like, if it takes me more than 10 minutes to set it up, then forget it. I'm not gonna...
It's essentially drag and drop. So if you connect it to your Windows machine, it's ready to go. If you connect it to a Mac, you have to install a driver.
Oh, a driver?
It's very easy. It's very simple. So you drag your files over onto it, and it'll just show up in this interface. You can do it over
even
the web.
in the iPad, there's a driver? No.
No, it's just on the hard drive. So it's ready to go. It's ready to go out of the box essentially.
Okay.
And you can turn it off. It lasts about 4 hours. Fly or die.
I'd give it a fly. 150 bucks. I'd buy it.
Yeah. I haven't found a use case for it because I don't know how much. I don't know if I'm going to sit on a plane and want to like watch.
But would
12 hours
you use this instead of a hard drive?
Well, presumably what I would use this for is I would use this to store stuff that I don't want to store on the iPad or store on the computer. So this is like an extra hard drive in the cloud that I can turn it on in my bag, leave it up there, and I could actually connect to it and have other people connect to it.
Yeah, I think that's very useful. Yeah. I can always use another hard drive.
I'm giving it a fly as well.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hey guys, good afternoon. This is Mark Lee from Seagate Technology. I'm the Director of Product Line Management.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. So tell us, what were the specific problems you're trying to solve with this device?
Essentially what we were doing with GoFlex Satellite is we were trying to make it a lot easier for people to access more content from their iPad or their tablet. What we wanted to do was to make it very simple, very familiar for people to connect to an external device, because as we know, tablets are pretty limited in terms of capacity. So we wanted to make it very easy for them to be able to get to more content. And the reason why we wanted to do that was because we find that, you know, there's a lot of people that have large media collections, but, you know, as you know, tablets have up to 64 gigs typically of storage space. But then there's also the inability to predict what you want to watch if, say, you're on a long vacation or on the road. Sometimes you load up content that you aren't necessarily in the mood for, or you wanted to watch something in particular that you didn't happen to load onto your iPad. So it was those two things that really drove us to design this product and make it very simple, because obviously making things simple will eliminate some of the barriers to adoption.
Now I've seen some minor issues with transcoding. How fast is the transcoding so I could basically watch? I can watch shorter films fairly quickly, but longer films take a little bit longer. What's the barrier there?
Actually, there's some buffering that'll happen up front that we want to make sure that the video or the quality of service is ideal. So for larger resolution videos, in some cases you may wait a few more seconds before it actually starts playing. But what you'll find once it actually does start playing, you can kind of skip back and forth pretty easily at pretty good quality without it getting choppy, which may happen if you're streaming something over the internet, for example.
And did he get the price right? Is it 150 or 199?
It's actually 199
Okay.
as a suggested retail price.
All right.
Okay. And so are you really going up against just other hard drives? I mean, as a consumer, am I thinking, am I going to buy a 500 gigabyte or terabyte hard drive or this? Or you're going, this is my second hard drive, my mobile hard drive?
Actually, what we're trying to do is get people thinking away from gigabytes and the 500 gigs. Now, you do have to obviously keep that in mind when you're thinking about how much you can store on it. But it's really more about being able to carry all of your content with you. If you compare it to a 500 gigabyte, obviously there is a price difference. But we're trying to tell people, hey, you can store up to 300 movies on this device. You can carry it with you.
Right.
Whatever you're in the mood for at the time, you'll be able to access it, and you'll be able to access it quite easily.
So I guess the biggest argument against this, against carrying all your stuff with you all the time, is that increasingly, as we just saw with Google Music, is that all of your content is or will soon be available online to be streamed to you, right? So there's the tension there between having everything, a copy of it, digital copy of it that you can carry all around, in which case this is a great device to solve that problem. But eventually, don't you get rid of the need for this just by being able to access your collection online?
I think there's going to be some shifts. To your point, the cloud side of things will emerge and obviously become more popular. I think in our research, what we found was there's a lot of people that are still concerned about the privacy part and their data being in someone else's hands. And there's also the fees. Now, I know some of these services have come out and have been quite generous, but we know people are going to amass larger content collections, and at some point, that's actually not even enough to make a lot of their content accessible. So that plus the quality of service that we talked about, in some cases, your hotspot isn't going to be that great, or there's a lot of people around you accessing the same hotspot. These are kind of the reasons why we think that this is actually a really viable and actually really interesting product category for the next level.
Have you used this in the wild? Have you been on an airplane where you're watching, I don't know, all of coupling?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Have you used this in the wild yet? Have you actually used this on an airplane where you wanted to watch a bunch of movies and you didn't get a chance to? Because that's what I haven't been able to test that yet because I haven't been in that situation.
Oh, absolutely. I've tried it. I forget which airline I was on now. You're gonna have to be careful because some airlines are gonna allow you to use it and some aren't. But I did actually load up a TV series that I'm very interested in and found that I wasn't in the mood for that. So it actually served its purpose, which was it gave me access to content that I didn't necessarily have natively on my iPad. So.
All right, super.
Okay, terrific. Well, thanks for sharing this with us. And this is available today, or when does it actually become?
You can actually pre-order on BestBuy.com, Amazon, and our own website, and it'll be on shelves in July.
In July. Okay, terrific. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Take care.